You could live stream it on. You could live stream a podcast on Twitch instead of just doing a game.
God. They would probably, their very first question would be, what the hell is wrong with that guy in the West Virginia toboggan?
The answer is a lot.
Is he mentally retarded?
Well, I like the idea of doing like those little skits, like whenever we play Is This Person Human? Where we ask Scott ordinary questions and let him answer. And you tell us if this is a real person answering or some sort of not person pretending to be a person.
Some kind of not person.
Trying to give a humanoid answer.
Maybe he's make it like, is it something he's reading out of a magazine, or is this an actual response?
Is this his opinion, or is he reading this off the back of a book?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of that game, Scott?
Whatever.
We can come up with a jingle too when it comes down.
What a shitty
God. I mean, I want you to imagine, Scott. I want you to imagine anything that you've ever listened to or anything like that. Now, I want you to picture it being like on TV. Somebody asks somebody a very specific question about this crazy-ass game, and their response is, whatever.
Whatever.
Fuck it.
Man, I can't wait to tune in next time.
We
to
don't
hear
get that
Scott
where I'm
be
from.
indifferent. I can't wait to hear the rest of the group helps the group.
The group.
The group helps Scott through his ambivalence. You remember when they were doing the it was like the neighborhood watch in Glen Fork or whatever?
No.
Okay.
At least I don't think so.
Well, everybody in Glen Fork had these walkie-talkies, and Glen Fork is so small.
Oh yes, I think I remember.
Do you?
On that shit?
Yes, the five, like all had 5 mile, and they would all check in. Is 4 doing a roll call? And everybody in Glen Fork with a walkie-talkie would say, "That's the he gotta say this, I got that say. Yes. Every old woman and loser old man and pillhead one and the same. God, they be Isaiah got one up there. And people like the kids, people like Billy Belcher and stuff would tune into the frequency and troll it. It was so funny. Billy pretended to be this prostitute named Candy, and she would say, she would name all the guys in Glen Fork and say that was her customers.
I'm trying to think. Oh.
See?
Was there a person named Virginia or something like that on there?
There was the Whisperer that came on there. And that became it's such a weird phenomenon. It's like some shit from the Twilight Zone. Listen to the story. Let me tell you the fucking story of the Whisperer. So, all this is going on for a while. And these people, especially Mom and Rick, they're like going out. I heard a noise up on Retard Lane. By the way, people in Glen Fork call this road Retard Lane to this day because back in like 1991, Kearney Pizzino spray painted Retard Lane all the way down the road. And it's still called that by people there.
Whenever the state went around putting signs on all these streets, what does the sign say?
There's no sign.
They was like, we can't put that on the sign. So we'll just skip this one.
Everybody calls it that. So anyway, Whisper comes on and starts terrorizing everybody, saying really mean stuff about everybody, and saying he would like pick out a person and say, "I'm watching you. And they would do it all night. And it would just, like, torture these people. And they'd try to switch. And he'd come switch over to the other thing. And then he picked Mom. And he kept doing it to her. I'm watching you. And he would say shit like, I just saw Rick leave the house. It got so creepy. People were freaking out. Everybody wanted to know who it was. George Brown was the prime suspect. George didn't even live in Glen Fork at the time. He lived in Beckley.
And George couldn't even whisper.
No.
He'd been like, I'm watching you.
No. And one day, Mom went out and talked shit to George forever, saying that it was him and all this other stuff was going to happen. George just started crying. And walked home. But, so, and then, like, it got to the point where they were, like, attempting to triangulate the signal or whatever. They'd run the signal and figure out where they could go and all this other stuff, and got it narrowed down to around Browntown. And then suspicions became high. It was either George or James, or they didn't know who it was. And Rick, at one point, loses his mind and drives down to Browntown in the middle of the night and just stands out in the road screaming for the Whisperer to come out. And of course he never does. And then now, along with Rick, is not the only crime fighter. We have Brad, the guy that owns the gas station. We have Rusty Church. He teaches karate for Christians, or something like that. And he volunteers for the fire department. And he fought in Vietnam. And he's got a fucking 45 that'll blow a man in half. And his wife knows how to use a samurai sword. And his daughter is trained in Iranian knife fighting. And he is always ready to kick some ass. And he is the dude. He feels like he's in charge of the whole
Shebang.
Yes. And they have town meetings and stuff, and Rusty's up there and he's talking. Well, I carry my piece on me all the time, and I suggest that the rest of you should too. He's all about this, okay? Once they finally continue narrowing down the search, it turns out that the whole time the Whisperer was Rusty Church. This motherfucker was so corrupt with power, and he needed the neighborhood watch to continue. He created a fictional character to terrorize everybody in Glen Fork.
That's insane.
So that the neighborhood watch would keep going and everybody would get more and more scared and start turning towards the select few people in the town.
We'll drive out the druggies somehow. I know how. Fictional character. Whisperer.
Dude, that is an honest to God true story. Hey, Scott and Jody. Did you all have any experience with,
God damn it.
with, what do you call it? Where they were on the radios and stuff? The watch? The neighborhood watch? That went on in Glen Fork?
Scott did more than I did.
I think Scott was in it.
Scott, were you?
Yeah.
Well, I just listened to it, and that's about it. You know, sit there and laugh, especially when the candy cane stuff broke out. It was more like tune into TV soap opera. You know, 6 o'clock in the day it would start, and had some very funny, entertaining stuff that would come around on that. And of course, Rick would get so mad as hell for people talking junk on there. And of course, the Rusty Church was a whole different animal compared to Rick. It about exploded into something worse than it should have been, or it shouldn't have ever got to that point. It was something unique.
It was. Were they not out triangulating the signals? They were blaming people for being the Whisperer. The Whisperer.
Whisper.
I remember I started logging off about that time, but I remember talking about this infamous Whisperer, and I'm sure y'all probably know who the hell it is.
I think there was more than one.
Whoever the Whisperer was, they had some hated fans out there. Matter of fact, Rick went down to the Baptist Temple parking lot one time, daring the Whisperer to meet him in the parking lot. Listen to it all.
He'd have been like Whisper, saying, "I'm gonna whip your ass. I'm gonna whip your ass."
Oh
Here I
yeah,
come.
he's talking some junk, man. He was awesome.
But the Whisperer would be saying really scary stuff to people. He'd be like, I just saw your husband leave for work and I know you're home alone. Like creepy stuff. It was freaking everybody. It had everybody terrified. It was like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Everybody started turning on each other. Nobody knew what to do. They were terrified to come out of their homes.
Oh,
Now, it was
Now, by God,
that
now
was
Rusty Church wasn't scared of shit now.
Why,
No, I don't
my daughter's got a sword back there to chop a man in half.
2 halves. The top and the bottom half.
Son, I don't know about that on my deck. We about 18 deep. And I would laugh my ass off at that stuff. So.
have about 18 deep in your ass. Is that what you were saying?
I went that first shot then.
Funny as crap.
Man. So, okay, that was pretty cool. Do you ever remember anything like that happening in Glen Fork before? I mean, you were in Glen Fork way longer than we were.
No, first time experience.
Yeah, it wasn't stupid like that when we was growing up.
Dude, I don't know what happened. That just... You tell people that story and they don't believe it. Do you understand that, like, no one believes stories from Glen Fork?
It's Twilight Zone down there.
It is. It really is the Twilight Zone.
I've been like, what is it? I've been to 3 county fairs and 4 goat fuckings, and I ain't never seen a place worse than Glen Fork.
Well,
All I want to know, Jody, is did you participate in the goat events?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did
was
not
just
even know
asking.
it was happening until it was kind of over with.
Was you upset?
Yeah, because I didn't get to join in and fucking play games.
hey, Scott.
And
What?
Topics was a major happening at that time too. Topics created a lot of the mess
Oh, yes.
that it insinuated in
I don't, that fucking Who's Your Karma, I don't know.
There's
What the
this
fuck
Was it?
is
It was
There's
Karma
this-
something?
there was
I am
this
your karma.
Carolina at the time called Fed Up.
I forgot about this. They were like the stars. They were the like Fed Up and something Karma. I'm your Karma.
I'm your karma. I'm fed up. I wonder who they were.
Now that no one ever found out.
I don't know.
I think they were women.
I do too. That's what I think too,
I
man.
think they were people on this podcast.
I don't think it was.
You think it was Jody?
Not me.
It wasn't me. It was not me.
It wasn't me either.
Well, I know it wasn't
not
me.
Huh?
Oh,
I said, I know it wasn't me because I was on there talking trash to him.
Oh, no. It created the havoc. It started everything. And Candy Cane. Candy Cane was the most pivotal figure in the whole incident. The whole Crime Watch stuff that went array, Candy Cane was the Stone Cold Steve Austin of that era. Billy Belcher.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I laugh.
I'll tell you what, you'll kick fucking Carmi East this motorcycle help when you fuck with anybody like that. Man,
Car-
That's what I've never even known Carmi Eastep until all that. I didn't even know he was a person.
I didn't either.
And hell, he's lived around there forever, right?
No,
No.
he lived down in like Linco area somewhere.
Linko. Frog Bottom.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
He's
Frog
an
Bottom.
idiot.
Was he
Yeah.
rounded up this weekend?
was he what? No,
Rounded
no,
up. I feel like
no.
everybody in Frog Bottom was rounded up.
Not a whole lot of them, really. There was well, I don't know about the drug thing. How many was
Did you
there?
see where Andrea Massey's? Did you see where Andrea Massey's sister got fucking arrested for murder and shit?
Yeah.
Oh God, Hoosier, you might have D. They might find your. Oh God.
Don't make baby. Don't make me come.
Yeah. Find your DNA at the crime scene.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Who was it?
Andrea Massey, Hoosier, was the girl that you stuck your P-bird in one end, and Morgan stuck his P-bird in the other end.
I think that's
Oh.
been way too long for them to pick any of that up.
I don't know. Probably fucking Mac Mill and shit's craziest shit I ever seen. Watching them fucking trade houses and pack shit from one end of the bottom to the other.
What? Wait, tell us why two families were traded houses.
I don't know. They get drunk and Richard Junebug, I want your place. Well, I want your place. Well, the next day, they pack a couch from Junebug's house from across the road where Charlie lived, all the way over to where my dad lives at Richard's. Pack a couch over there, and they pack a couch back. Richard's couch. They pack Junebug's beds and shit over. Richard's beds back. Kids fucking packing boxes of food and shit. Cockroaches fucking packing shit. And, you know,
I knew that was coming.
Is that how you got the pool table, Jody? You was just the middleman?
no, I just sit there and watch it all day.
In between?
You got the pool table from George, right? Where did George get the pool table? Is anybody in this chat somebody that believes that in any sort of like conspiracy or anything like that?
Which kind of conspiracy you talking about, Bubby?
Oh no, that was pretty general, I guess.
Yeah, that's what,
Well, some people, like my brother, he's like, no conspiracies ever happened, except we didn't land on the moon. There's only one he thinks is a conspiracy.
He don't think that Area 52 exists and the government's...
Area 52.
Yeah, well, some of us doubt the existence of Area 52.
I highly doubt it.
Doubt the existence of Area 51.
No, not 51, 52. 51's a video game.
You're right.
52 is something on a video game.
No, 52, my friend, is where they keep the aliens. The stories that are told is 51. 52 is where they keep it.
Oh, okay.
Well, thought I seen shit one time look like a fucking shooting star, and it come back the other way after it went. But then Scott was talking about the shit he seen that one night. And I just believe in him. Me and him was talking about, fucking aliens. If they popped out and said, "Oh, they're really aliens," how quick it would throw the fucking religious everything about the Bible and shit. It would just completely discontinue everything that's ever written about the Bible.
I mean, does the Bible say there's no such thing as aliens?
Well, it don't talk about them, and if I'd say,
Well, here's my
Maybe
question,
they left
Jody.
it out in the New Testament. Maybe it was in the Old Testament.
Well, Oh, go ahead, Chad.
Well, I mean, I'm not defending it or anything, but why would a book written for this planet have anything to do with any other planet?
because if God is the almighty being altogether, the creator of everything, then why wouldn't he mention, hey, we're not the only people. We're not the only ones. We're not the only
Yeah, but he also didn't mention medicine.
Right.
So that would have been a great help. You know what would have been really super for God to do? Write a science book. Oh God, how the stuff we would be able to know if you could have God tell it to you. I mean, that would be amazing. You would know about technologies beyond.
Your wildest dream.
Yeah, you would know how to travel between dimensions. I think the problem there lies, Jody, not in that. I think that it may screw up a religion, but it doesn't necessarily have to screw up the idea of there being a God. It could just be like, yeah, there is a God that made this. He just doesn't really focus on us as much as we'd like to think he does. Like, we're not a big part of his whole grand scheme as we like to make ourselves believe with all the stuff that goes into it. Maybe that's why he didn't tell us about everything. Because we're really not that important.
This could be.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Or, what if we are the only... What if there's no life anywhere else? And we literally are the only thing that ever came to life? Like, could human beings one day populate the universe and us be the life that's everywhere?
Could be.
Yeah.
That would
it's
be
an
kinda,
interesting thought.
be kind of sad, but all that
Yeah, I like
space
the
just
idea
wasted.
that somebody else can do it.
No, I mean, it just happened to us first. I'm not... Look,
Right, yeah, I see what you're saying now.
even if there are other aliens, somebody had to be first, right?
Right.
Somebody has to be first. So why isn't it not us?
Oh, God. Whew. Sorry.
Which goes to the question, which is most terrifying: being here alone or not being the only one?
Being here alone would be to me.
But if you're not alone, you have to worry about what's his name in the wheelchair said.
Stephen
Christopher.
Hawking.
I was going for Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves don't know shit about
he
science.
said, would they be conquerors? Kind of like how we come over and took the land of the Indians. Would they be the conqueror type?
Hey, look, we traded whiskey for that, so I see that.
Well, why would they be? Why
We
would they
also
be
traded-
anything? Why would they need our resources?
Why wouldn't they? We don't know what they would need.
Well, I mean, I just find it strange that, look, we know pretty much that there's no life in any range we can see, and we can see in stuff that takes you light years to travel. So being able to travel that distance takes the ability to harness the power of the sun. So I don't know why you'd come all the way across the universe to take take iron and shit out of a planet when you're harvesting fusion and shit like that. This just seems pointless. It seems like us going over there and trying to put ants on a fucking hamster wheel to make a machine work.
Well, that's kind of like traveling from West Virginia to North Carolina in a horse and wagon back in the day, being having this stuff to do it, to versus now you can do it by plane in an hour. It depends on the technology you got, how you utilize it. It's hard to envelope your mind around somebody that could be a billion years older than us and how they can accomplish things.
It's kind of like, whenever we talk about aliens landing, we always see like a really feeble body and this gigantic head, this giant brain. So it's like, what are you saying? That brains are what really are evolving? Which makes sense, I guess, because you are your brain. I mean, your body is just attached to your brain and it keeps the brain alive. Because if we replaced your heart, you'd still be you. If we replaced all of your arms and legs, you'd still be you. But if we replaced your brain, I think we all agree that is not the same person. Right?
Right.
So I'm thinking if a brain reaches the point that it no longer cares about the body, it's going to take itself out of the body and stick it in like a robot or some shit that's impervious to damage and shit like that.
Or evolve with a bigger skull.
Sure. Another good.
It's the big head.
I know.
He's crying. He's crying.
Well, you see how big George's brain is, and his skull is still small.
His head is big. The skull is small. It's very thin.
Yeah.
It's like an M&M.
Eminem.
Or like the second day after a snowfall, the crust on top of the snow.
Really thin and crunchy.
Yeah.
As long as he don't fall down and slide down the mountain up at the holler, we're all right.
Oh God, that night. Oh jeez, Scott, tell the story of that night. Listen to this. Listen to this.
I believe y'all can tell it better than I can because
I just want you to tell your point of view, and I'll tell my point of view.
well, we were sitting at the house, had the amps, guitars out, up there just creating some rhythms. I tried to do some solo stuff. Thomas over there asleep on the couch like he normally does when people are around. And we just up there jamming. Next thing I know, I hear a knock on the door. I knew by the knock who it was. It was Tommy Milam. I was like, yeah, fuck. And so I went ahead and answered the door. He came in. What are you boys doing? I was like, yeah, he's here playing some music, man. Chilling out, and he's drinking stuff. We had a pretty decent snow on that night. Cold. George was there. Tommy sat down, he was listening to us play a little bit. And George just out of the blue kind of like looks at him all cockeyed like this. Hey, Tommy, you remember me? Tommy's like, no, bud. I don't know who you are. He's like, you sure you don't remember me? I'm like, no, bud, I don't know who you are. So we get going a little bit, and all of a sudden, Tommy's eyes are like, yeah, I know who you are. You them sons of bitches that burnt me out of that pistol out there. And he stood up, had his fist balled up, getting ready to go after Tommy. So I had to basically, going after George, I had to basically like drop my guitar and get up there and stop him from a conflict in my living room. And George was like, why didn't you do that, man? Fuck it, if you want to go outside, we'll go outside. I was like, there ain't nobody fighting in my damn house. Then it kept going back and forth. I kept having to push Tommy back, his fist all balled up and everything. And I eventually, like, my house ain't getting tore up for nobody. I was like, out. Everybody out. I said, get your shit and get the fuck out now. That's exactly how it went down.
Dude, I just want to say, I was so mad when that happened. I was like, fuck. I was having so much fun. And this ruined it. Okay, go ahead.
And Matt took Tommy up to his house to see some kind of produced paperwork to prove the incident happened. And at that time, I was telling George, I was like, go down the road. I said, just get down the road. I said, Thomas, take him somewhere, get him down the road. And Thomas did. Then the situation kind of dissipated a little bit. Then Tommy came back down there and he showed me this produced piece of paper showing this transaction that took place over this illegal pistol sale that happened. And I'm like, all right, God, just get out of here. I don't give a damn what happened, you know. And a little bit later, a few minutes later, I don't know if I called y'all or y'all called me. We was talking about the whole incident, and George got mad at Matt and them because they confronted him about it and said George got mad and said, fuck you guys, I'm leaving. I'm walking back down the road, and said that he bumped his ass on the hill and slid down the hill in the snow.
He did. Dude, let me tell you. When we were there, we were like, see, here's the thing. George realized that Tommy recognized him before he recognized him because George wanted us to keep playing that song over, and he wanted us to keep playing the song because everybody was playing and singing. And so we kind of, wouldn't give Tommy a chance to say anything. And so that's why we kept playing Simple Man over and over. And so finally, whenever there was a break and then George couldn't keep the thing going, that's when Tommy, I just realized who you are. He stood up. And I'm like trying to talk Tommy into leaving. And that's when Scott said that. And I was like, fuck. I hated it. And I remember George being like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Had my ass whipped before. Might as well go ahead and get it over with again. And so I went up. Tommy was like, will you please come to my house and look at this receipt? And I was like, yes, I'll come. Because that's the only way I could get him out. And then like halfway up there, he's like, man, I'm so mad. He's like, Are you cold? He takes his jacket off and gives it to me. He's like, Bulls, I'm burning up. So we get into his house, and he's in there stumbling around or whatever, and his daughter's like, Dad, I'm trying to sleep. And he's like, trying to be quiet or whatever. And his wife comes in, she's like, what are you doing? He's like, nothing. Just nothing, trying to find this receipt. And so I look at the receipt, and it's signed by George. It doesn't really look like George's handwriting. But it did say George. It was like some stupid thing that just said, I'm George Brown and I'm selling Tommy this gun for $150. Okay. So anyway, I go back down. Tommy does that. We leave. Go back up to the house. And we're asking George about it. George, why are you even around there? Why are you with James when he's selling a gun if it wasn't you? Why are you doing this stuff? And then he blames Thomas for some reason. He's just like, Thomas won't even come and hang out with me. And I was like, why are you blaming Thomas for this? And so we're riding up the road, and George is mad, and we get out, and we're going into TC's house, and George won't come in. He's like, no, I'm going to fuck back home. And so he goes and walks down TC's hill there, man. It's all snow, bud, and he just wipes out, dude. Fucking slides on his ass all the way down the hill. Well, you know what's weird? I believe in aliens. I don't believe in ghosts. But if something crazy happens in my house at night and I'm alone, I think it's a ghost, not an alien. I never once went, an alien's in here. I always think, ghost. I don't know why that is.
Don't get me.
Man, I'll tell you what I think ghosts are. So, like, every mammal has a little bit of an ability to sense electromagnetic pulses. And some animals, like sharks, use it so much, they have like a sixth sense. They can see electromagnetic pulses. And hammerhead sharks, the reason why they have that is because they have a lot of those little sensors to pick that up. So, humans had it because if you could sense when danger was near or whatever, you would live longer. And so, you really don't hear about caveman ghosts or anything like that. You only really started hearing about ghosts around the time that technology and electricity started being put in places. When people started picking up constant EMPs, and we didn't know what to do with that. And some people are more sensitive to it than others, and those people think that they have some sort of connection to another world, when really they can just very sensitively and strongly sense EMPs.
Huh. It's pretty good theory there. I've never heard it before.
I think there's booger mans.
Oh yeah.
What
Scott still with us?
What
Yeah, I'm here.
is a ghost? Why do ghosts have clothes on? Okay, I can understand if you're going to tell me that I'm a sentient being that is run on some type of electricity or pulses or something, or could possibly have a soul that lives within me, and it could still exist somehow in another life. But how the fuck do my clothes come with me? I don't understand.
You need that stuff, man.
Let me put this theory. What if I was a ghost? Would you rather see me in a robe or see me naked?
Yeah, that's good.
So thank you.
But why do you have to steal? So basically, your soul gets fat. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
I mean, my God. What kind of diet do you have to go on? Well, listen, I ain't heavy. I have lost 135 pounds, but my soul has gained 80. So...
You're full of spirit. That's what they say.
Fat, I'm big souled.
Wow.
That hurts my feelings.
Listen, man, you gotta just get over it. It happens too many times. Way too many times.
That's right. Tell him, Hoosier. Hey, I got a question. Have you all ever thought about this? There's still tribes. That's pretty weird, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, that's pretty.
What we're doing now?
Yeah, there's still tribes in like Indian tribes in Charleston.
No, Chad. I mean, there's still people that fucking
Have nothing.
machete down a tree limb and use some vines and shit and put leaves on it and live in that.
Oh,
And
you're going
this
that
is
far.
crazy. While you are putting that banana leaf on top of it, a fucking airplane flies over your head. What must you think is going on in the rest of the world and you were missing out on?
Oh, missing out on way too much if you're putting a banana leaf on top of your house and an airplane goes by. I bet they're really tripping out when they see that shit.
Dude, there's people. Somebody explain that to me. Your feelings on knowing that there's still human beings that live exactly the way we did 10,000 years ago. How have you not advanced not 1 year?
They don't.
They just don't know no better.
No, they just don't want to. That's their problem. I mean, because
It's like you hear these people that was fucking in like these wars and shit, like Vietnam or like all these fucking shit, and they put them like up in these camps and shit all by themselves, and then like 15, 20 years goes by after the war's over, they're up there still thinking the fucking war's going on. They don't know no different kind of shit. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
But let's imagine that went on for 10,000 years.
They just ain't coming into reality.
Somebody would go out and go, hey, this is different.
But some people will probably just choose the tradition of the way that they're, I don't know why they would do that, but I mean, that's like, what is it, that taboo show? Like some of these tribes still have these like old school traditions where they put the lip plates in their mouth and stuff. And even with that being done, people might choose not to do it nowadays. Well, some people still want to follow that tradition, though.
George at one time told me about this I don't want to say unique, and I don't want to say bizarre, but to me, a strange, like, fantasy that he had, where he would, now if I get it wrong, George, fix it, but he wanted to go out and pick a guy and watch him fuck his girlfriend.
Yes, yeah, you're correct about that. The whole thing. That's what I said.
Thoughts?
Thoughts on fantasy or thoughts on the fact being?
Well, let's talk about his first.
Dude, fuck that. I couldn't watch anybody bang the girl that I liked.
No, I'm with Steven on that one. That's just, I couldn't do it.
If it's just some random trick or whatever, yeah, fucking, we'll do it, but not like you're like telling me that I'm gonna go pick somebody to go fuck Rachel. I ain't no way in hell.
What about Hannah, George? Would you do it with Hannah?
Hannah was the one I was talking about, and it wasn't something I don't think I'd go through. It was something that I said I thought about, and it actually, when I thought about it, the thought of it turned me on. Is what I said. I was like, wow, that's actually kind of pretty hot, apparently.
That has a name. It's called a cuckolding fantasy. And the person that is fucking her is called the bull. And then, like, the cuckold is the person who's watching.
Pass.
Well, what about you, Hoosier?
Oh, mine's I don't have no crazy fantasies. Mine's fucking just simple clothing. But I always want to see like a girl in like the Daisy Dukes with the ass cheeks cut out, like pulled way up on a big ass, with a wife beater on, and then like the fucking long like thigh socks that's like scrunchbled down on their ankles, and some like yellow work boots.
Man.
Yellow work boots.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of like Nicki Minaj in the Anaconda video.
if you think of like a stripper, construction worker, and a wife beater, would be the best way I could explain that.
Now,
So then, like all the women in the Satisfaction video.
I've not seen
You know
it,
what
but
I'm
if that's
talking
the
about?
case, then yeah.
Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Robert
I don't know
Palmer
if that's actually
song?
the. Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't know if that's the actual name of the song, but it is a bunch of bitches using tools and they're dressed up in bikinis and wearing work boots and.
Now
I don't know.
picture
Man.
this. My ex-fiance, Ashley, she used to dress up all the time, and she had this full body fishnet. And I put it on one time, and it had the holes, and I had one ball poking out one hole and another ball poking out of another hole.
Did she
And
say
then
a
just
ball?
yeah. And then just goofing off, I jumped outside, man. I was just like running around, and her fucking ass locked me out of the house, and like traffic was going up and down the road.
Wait a minute, you were in the suit? Okay. I thought he said his ex-wife was in the suit and she had one ball hanging out one hole and one ball hanging out the other hole.
No,
I was
it was
like,
her.
those are your ex-wives?
It was her outfit, but yeah, I put it on. It was too tight on me. So imagine
you said you were gone.
Imagine taking fishing string and putting it around your arm, like right here, and then watching it put real tight and watching it fold itself up and stuff, around it. And that's what it looked like poking out of there. Little crabs.
It probably looked like a whole bunch of dough in one of those potato sacks.
When you get a turkey, it's got that little braided
the
string around it. Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like.
What about you, Chad?
I don't have one.
How? You don't have anything that particularly like turns you on?
Yeah, he looked into her eyes. That's the end of
it. That's it.
No, I don't really.
Pollution is done.
How can this? Okay, then let's talk about that. What?
No, hold on. No. What's yours?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about Chad for a second. I'll tell you mine.
Oh. Okay.
I like a very casual nature towards sexual things. Like,
hey, how you doing?
Yes. Yes. Like if I'm sitting there, we're sitting here on the couch, and Brittany's like, I don't know, scrolling through Facebook. She's like, hey, why don't you come eat my pussy for a second? Or something like that. Why don't you come over here and eat my ass? I'd be like, man, this is awesome. And her, continue to scroll through Facebook while I'm doing it.
Now, see, what would have worked for you is something that happened. I was playing Magic with the guys with Barney and Mike, that guy online that I talked about.
This is a good game.
We were online, and Mike's wife bet him that she couldn't suck his dick, and us not find out about it while he was still playing. He would be able to keep playing, but the deal is that we couldn't find out about it. And the bet was that, if we found out about it, he had to watch the kid for the rest of the night while she went to her sister's or something. And if he won, then she wouldn't bother him or whatever. I don't know the details, but we ended up finding out because he stopped talking to us. It was like we were getting very short answers from him all of a sudden, and all three of us were on the same team. And it was like, Mike, what the fuck are you doing? And finally, he just jumped offline, and I guess they did their thing, and then he come back and was like, I can't play anymore. I just lost a bet. And he explained it to us a couple of days later.
Well, I guess he didn't really have to explain it to you. He kind of said it all right there.
Well, I mean, he didn't give us the details of the bet. He just kind of was like, I got to get off here. I just lost a bet, and immediately jumped offline. So we were like, what the fuck's he talking about? Lost a bet?
Okay.
So, right. Chad, and not having any sexual fantasies. That's where we're at now.
Yep.
I guess.
So how can that be? You just don't ever think about it?
Oh, not really, no.
Did you and Delilah knock all the stuff out in high school or something?
Probably.
Did you ever have one?
Not that I can think of. No.
Oh, so what do you have you ever watched porn?
Ever?
Yeah, but there's never been a preference.
What do you type in or whatever? I mean, I don't understand. Like,
Just scroll through the selection.
and then you see
But
a
something's
thing.
got to catch your eye.
I mean, I agree. You can't describe the type of person that you're attracted to. Like, at least Hoosier did the clothing thing.
Yeah, but that don't even. I have
I have a
absolutely
feeling that
no
we'll get an
preference.
answer to all this tomorrow while he's not at home, or the next time he's not at home.
Is that possible? Is there for some reason you can't?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, wow. I wonder why that would be a big deal.
Prudish.
Because it's a different race.
It's a different race.
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
yeah. It's all about the black.
Down with the swirl.
Man, I don't know where to go from here then. Okay, well then just give you your opinion on what I said mine was.
That doesn't surprise me out of you, really.
Really?
I don't.
No, it doesn't. That's kind of actually that pretty much fits you to a T. Somebody else that has ADD and can just let you do that. While I mean, just somebody thinks about video games while doing that. So
Yeah.
I just know my problem with that kind of stuff though is like I
Huh?
can't really get into the mood when something like that happens. I mean, that's normally how ours goes down. Is it's just all of a sudden there's like, you know, there's a saying, you know, in life there's a window every now and then it passes by, and if you don't jump through it, you miss the window. You know, who knows when the next window's going to come by. So me and Rachel every now and then we'll get that window, and it's just like let's go, and it's like there's no like playful. There's no nothing to it. It's get your ass up there, get naked, put the fucking condom on the dick, we'll throw some lube, I'll spit on the son of a bitch, and we'll go. And it's like I'm hard, but I'm not like rock hard, and I'm like really into it. It's just like we're just humping each other until we get off, and we go about our business. So I don't know how you do like just the casual, like, hey, oh, okay, sure, all right. And it being an actual fantasy.
And what was the last thing you said?
The casual, like, hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, you want to do? Okay, let's go do it. And then actual being an actual fantasy. To me, it's just like to me, it's not as.
No. Like, now it can lead into sex or that, but I'm just saying like that's not how I always wanted to get into sex or anything. Like, you know, that comes about all the time. I'm just saying like a weird thing that I think is hot.
Oh, I got you.